David, see, the last time you were here, I haven't added this question.
Oh, you had a question from last time.
Oh, yeah. I see. I now ask my guest to recommend 5 books for my audience.
Oh yeah.
See me, I love reading. I love reading. Okay. And see, like I said, see, education is the number one thing we need. And for me, yes, I recommend 12 years of schooling, but for people like us, we need to continue educating ourselves. Okay.
Very
so
important.
reading books. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
I was on Facebook some months ago.
Yeah.
A lovely lady. I can't remember who she is, but she's supposed to be one giant of the continent. And the video was old. Okay. She was talking about us being asked to read certain books, okay, by our colonial masters. And I can't remember exactly, but anyway, my point is this. People started commenting that, the colonial masters asked us to read certain books that we don't. Okay. Hey, the colonial masters are gone. Okay. Now you can decide what books to read. Pick up those books, read them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I got lambasted that why am I recommending Africans to read books written by people from the West? For me, it doesn't make sense. We say the West is trying to, let me use the word, marginalize us. Okay. If you think they are trying to teach us things that are not relevant to us, don't listen to them. But if you want to learn what they know, they know,
of course you have to listen to
read the books that they read.
Yeah.
If we refuse to read the books that they read, then we will not know what they know.
Yeah. that's a really, yeah.
If you want to know what they know, read the books they read. Okay, so please recommend 5 books.
So the very first book, I think I would like to recommend. I'm going to recommend 2 books.
No, I want 5.
No, it's going to be 5. I'm going to recommend what I was going to say. I'm going to recommend 2 books around inclusion. And
very good. That's your domain. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And the very first one is Building Palaces for People.
Okay. What is that about?
So Building Palaces for People focuses on how, marginalization in quotes, how the role of social capital in driving or promoting discrimination or marginalization. And the author actually made reference to there was a heat wave that happened in the 1970s in Chicago. And then those people, at the end of the day, I think the death toll was about 1,700 or so. But a larger fraction of those people who lost their lives were from, underserved communities. And so the writer started to investigate, like, why is it that more people passed on? It was the same thing that happened to everyone. Yeah. Why is it that those people who live in those underserved communities,
excellent question. Yeah,
actually suffer the most? And then in the course of his his investigation, I think it was by Eric Klinenberg, something like that. Yeah. In the course of his investigation, he discovered that one of the major issues is what he calls social infrastructure. Now, with social infrastructure, when you go to the rich boroughs and the wealthy parts of they had more spaces that created. They had more, which was quite, the discovery was quite unlikely. I probably would not have thought about that. and most people would agree that it's shocking. When you read the book, you would find out it's shocking. In most of these communities, in the rich boroughs, they have like what they call social spaces where different people are allowed to come out of their environment and then integrate. Kids are allowed to come and play. And so that way they were able to build this form of like a bond.
Yeah.
Right. And so when that event happened, the question, when he interviewed, he found out that it was very easy for people to call for help. And help came, compared to in those on the South community, they lacked social spaces. They didn't have like public spaces where people integrated. So everyone was cramped up in their homes.
In their own houses. Oh my God.
Their own houses. And so you live in those kind of places where there's something going on in the next, and you don't
Nobody knows.
You don't know. And so because of that, there were so many people who actually lost their lives in their houses.
Wow.
So as a result of that was like a shocking discovery. And I was like, wait a minute. And then it now goes on to talk about, but if you now think about it, most developing part of the world, and if you take it back to like what we have, if you think about developing parts of the world, the reason why we have so much stagnation or a record of developmental stagnation is because we actually lack social spaces. Bring people out, network, because by networking and discussing that, they actually get to form bonds, and it's those bonds that go on to be transformed to any other form of capital that we can actually think of. So so that's one book I strongly recommend.
Very good.
The second book I would strongly recommend is a book I'm reading currently.
Okay.
About the economics of inequality. I have it just here.
Okay.
So the economics of inequality is by Thomas Piketty.
Oh,
right?
Okay. I have a Capital.
You have Capital.
Capital that he published 4 years ago.
Okay. By the same author.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, check it out. I have it on my shelf there. Yeah.
Oh, great! This is actually it's a really really incredible book, and I think it's similar to a book I'm actually working on, called Whose Fault, where we actually trying to. It's usually
what is the title called?
This is the economics of inequality.
Okay.
The economics of inequality.
Yeah. No, I don't. For your whatever is making it blurry. I can't see it.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry about that.
No.
But yeah. So it's similar to the book I'm trying to work on. We just talked about the connection of marginalization, whose fault it is. So yes, we discriminate against a particular group, and we always want to blame it to some eventuality. But if you interview who you apportion blame to, they would always put the blame on someone else. And then at the end of the day, we're actually trying to carry out the research to find out what exactly are the underlying cause of this transferred, discrimination causes, whatever the case may be. So this is a wonderful book that I would strongly recommend as well.
Very good.
Now, so that's for inclusion.
Okay.
Now, for one book I really enjoy reading, which I'm sure most people, it's by the same author, is Built to Last. I recommend Built to Last for every person who wants to build.
By Thomas?
No, not by Thomas.
By who?
Built to Last is not by Thomas. It was by two authors, the same author of Good to Great. Have you heard about Good to Great?
I heard about it.
Jim Collin?
I haven't read it.
Okay, so it's actually by Jim Collin.
Okay.
Yep. And Built to Last actually helps people understand how to build timeless organizations, particularly in Africa.
Yeah. We need those things because
we do.
We're just starting actually. Yeah.
Yeah. We often focus on creating businesses rather than creating systems. And what the book has actually taught me was, and which has played a huge role in how we are evolving as an organization, and every other organization I'm fortunate to be a part of, is how do we change our mindset from being an organization in society doing something to being a system that can be trusted, being part and parcel of our human evolution. So it's such that in a million years, are we sure that if the world still exists, are we sure that we will still be playing an integral role, fulfilling that same mission as a system? And so that's basically what Built to Last actually does, which is a really fantastic, wonderful.
Good.
Another book I would like to encourage people to read is a book about the richest man in Babylon.
Yeah. Clesson. I have it up there. Yeah.
And
I bought copies for my older daughters. Yeah. It's a very good interesting story like book.
Interesting story like book. Interesting. And I remember back when I first read it when I was at uni, my first degree, quite a number of years ago. I nicknamed myself Akkad because Akkad was the character in the book.
Yeah.
He was the richest man in Babylon, and he gave about 10 rules about what to do. And I really encourage people because alongside
fantastic
social impact. Yeah, it's a really great book. I believe that as young people, we should also be financially intelligent to a great degree. No matter the good you want to do in the world, you need resources.
Without money, nothing.
Without money, it will be hard for you to. And so, often people say, "Oh, why do you want to become rich?" I say, "Well, I want to become rich so that when I want to do good for my people, I don't have to."
You do it exactly.
You know, I can just go on and do it without asking so many questions, right? And I think that's actually the mindset that most Africans should have. So try as much as possible to read that book. It's wonderful. And then the last book I would advise that you should read is 12 Lessons About Life by Jordan Peterson.
It's also here.
Yeah, 12 Rules for Life.
Life,
my diary, in my bookshop.
Very good, very good. I have my here.
And great. And this book it's an amazing book. So what actually intrigued me about this book is I actually started listening to Jordan Peterson about some years ago when his controversial interviews, always crying, while talking about life.
Yeah. See, he's an emotional person.
Like who is he? And then you get to find out from this book that life is not entirely fair.
Yeah.
But the fact that life is not fair doesn't mean that you should be disadvantaged. Did that make sense? Mm-hmm. And so the book actually teaches me particularly how to transform the things that happen in my realities. How do I transform them to tools that can help me transform those ideas that I have into concrete solutions for people? If that makes sense.
Very good.
So that's basically what this book teaches. And they actually like my top reads for now. And
I'm very happy. I'm very happy that you have that book. It's fantastic.
It's a wonderful book.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful book.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful book.
And I would recommend this book for you.
Okay, please. It's always a privilege.
It's from my favorite author right now. See, I don't see him as an author. I just see him as did I talk to you about him, Tomoso? Yeah.
Oh, yes, you did. Yes,
good,
you did.
Good. Migration and cultures.
Yeah.
Okay. Migration and cultures. See, you are interested in inclusion. That's a domain. Migration and cultures will at least you will learn something about people moving. Okay. Yep. People move your place and move to somewhere else. You encounter different circumstances.
Yeah.
And in that book, you learn that there are certain people, go around the world and they're doing the same thing all over the world.
Yeah.
And
I think
how easy it is to be included in the society and all that.
Yeah. I think I'm definitely going to get that book because I feel it to complement a book I actually got and I read, which is a really great book. It's called The Age of Migration, which I'm to look for somewhere. Yeah, that's it. This is it. It's called The Age of Migration, and it's a really great book. Who's the author? Stephen Castles and Mark Jenner. And Mark Mueller, sorry. It's a really good book. And what the book actually talks about was how different populations, as a result of several things that are happening, from war to climate change, people tend to move across. But by moving across, they actually take something with them. And it reminds me of when I was in secondary school. There's a form of this, what's it called? Not cross-pollination, where wind blows seeds.
Yeah.
Then those seeds go somewhere else, and then they germinate and they become a plant and become a tree. And you're wondering, why was this thing growing here? It was the wind. And that's basically what this book talks about. That people move around, people take value, their culture, and then wherever they go, they get to implement that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I think that what you said is a book that I would love to read to complement.
Yeah. And that book is, see, he wrote that book. He wanted to write one book, but by the time the manuscript was so big, he had to divide into 3 books. So migration and culture was one, conquest and I can't remember, the books are there. I will check them for you. I will tell you. But
please, I really
and the third one is race and culture.
And culture.
So
I look forward to that.
Yeah,
and would you permit me to add 2 more books?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, please. So one of my favorite social scientists. His name is is a blessed memory now, and his name is Amartya Sen, Professor Amartya Sen, and he wrote a book called The Idea of Justice. And Development as Freedom. Now, those books are remarkable books. And that's where I actually got the idea of, if you're giving resources to distribute to the people, how do you do it? Is it through utilitarianism, which is ensuring that as long as we get the most benefits, that's the right way to do it? Or do you identify those people who are disadvantaged, or do you do the veil of ignorance where you don't care whether you're rich or you're poor, everyone, it's there, go get it, right? How do you approach it? And that book actually talks about, and also Development as Freedom talks about how, by empowering people with the freedom to, first of all, identify their talents, develop those talents, and then the freedom to transform those talents into value for their local community, solve local problems in their communities. That is the best best form of development.
That's the best thing you can do. Exactly.
That you can do for you. And so those books actually keep refining my mindset about the work that we do at Salt House and my other organizations as well. Promoting inclusion.
David, see, like I said, I love to talk to you. Okay. If we continue, we will not end the conversation. See, I'm so happy. I'm so happy about your work.
Thank you so much, sir.
See, your inclusion festival. I unfortunately, I don't know if I will be able to come.
It will be great. We can make that work.
But I don't know if I will be able to come. But I want to, let's talk next month. Tell me what's going on, and
thank you.
And then, hey, I would like to talk to some of your awardees.
Yeah, sure. Happy to.
Let's continue talking. Okay. I'm so happy talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
Thank you.
I really appreciate the opportunity to be in this room. It's a wonderful room to refine your thoughts and your ideas and go out there and do wonderful things. I just wish we had more. As you've actually had. It's a privilege to be here, because there's so many persons I look up to that I've been privileged to listen to their interviews, and I'm like, this is just the place to refine your ideas. So thank you so much for all that you do for African social entrepreneurs and change makers, by creating us a platform to critique our approach to development and then go back to create what works for people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you, and have a wonderful.
Bye.
Bye.